To continue with the momentum that we have created from the start of the day, I would like to invite a very, very interesting and insightful expert who is there with us today, Dr. Avinash DeSousa, to address a title, Infrastructure, Intelligence and Human Behaviour. Dr. Avinash DeSousa is a consulting psychiatrist and founder of the Desousa Foundation. May I please request Dr. DeSousa to come on stage? Thank you so much. We look forward to your session.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. On the lighter side, I'm the person who stands between all of you all and lunch. Okay. So to start I won't be taking a lot of time. My job here today is not as a doctor, but it's more as a human being who likes other human beings. And the key factor why I'm here is because I firmly believe it is only humans who can foster development of other humans. Why are we talking about intelligence in infrastructure at InfraConclave? The reason is everything stems from intelligence. Intelligent designing, intelligent planning, intelligent delivery, intelligent discussion, and the intelligence to vision what is needed 20 years from now, the intelligence to vision what is needed 30 years from now. Well, the reason of this session is we're all going to benefit. I will benefit, you will benefit, we all will benefit, because this is a different take. This session is not going to talk about infrastructure, where roads have gone wrong, where metros have gone wrong, where people have gone wrong. No. It's purely going to talk about human behavior. I believe infrastructure is incomplete unless it has a romantic and scandalous affair with human behavior. There are many times I have visited buildings, seen flats. There are many times I have visited hospitals, seen structures which have not been planned. And when you see planned structures, you feel happy. Whenever we go on a holiday, we move from cities to greener environments. You very often want to go to a hill station, you want to go somewhere where there is snowfall, you want to go somewhere where there is greenery, where there are tea gardens. Why do you want to do that? Because infrastructure over a period of time, if not changed, gets human beings ecologically bored. And it is very important that we don't get ecologically bored with the infrastructure that we have. Many of you travel for work, and after some time you get fed up of hotel rooms. Many of you travel for work, after some time you get fed up of the same offices. You want renovation. In our own house, we want renovations, we want change from time to time. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not possible, but that's where the human capital comes in. I always say this, building companies, builders, infrastructural developers give you houses. It is the human beings inside those houses that make them homes. Your company has organizations and offices. It is the staff that makes it a workforce. The reason is infrastructure needs to focus on the human capital. And the human capital is very essential because you have three groups of the human capital. You have an older group, you have a younger group, and you have a group which is in the middle. All three have different viewpoints. All three need to think, coalesce, and plan for the future. Infrastructure and human capital well-being, when it comes together, I always believe it is like eating pani puri which is well made. How many of you have ever eaten pani puri in your life? If it is not to the right taste, you don't feel happy. If it's too sweet, it's not good. If it's too salty, it's not good. If it's too spicy, it's not good. So infrastructure and human capital well-being together is like the best pani puri you can get. And if you look at cities, infrastructure creates the forms of cities. I've been staying in Bombay for the past 30 years. If you suddenly tell me shift to Calcutta, Calcutta is a beautiful city, but if you tell me shift, I'll feel this doesn't have this doesn't have that. If I have a person from Calcutta, I ask him to shift to another city, it takes him a good 1 or 2 years to adjust to that city. The reason is you're used to the place you're around, and we need to develop things around that. And finally, of course, coming back to the fact, it is human beings that make up the city. It is not the infrastructure. It is how human beings use that infrastructure, how they develop that infrastructure, and how they plan for that infrastructure. Also, what is very important is families. Families need to be connected. I have seen gated communities, I have seen cities where families don't speak to each other. Infrastructure doesn't allow it. I may ask somebody, he said, I have 2 brothers who stay in the city of Mumbai, but we are 20 kilometers apart. We can't meet each other. The only way the family today is connected is on a WhatsApp group. Nothing beyond that. The reason is each one is staying so far, if it takes 2 hours, 3 hours to commute, becomes a problem. And how are we going to develop stable infrastructure for the future? It is going to be through values. These values are not going to be values which you're going to talk about. Sessions like this are only going to lead to thoughts. It is only when we put these values into practice will it work. I believe today all human beings suffer from what I call nature deficiency disorder. All infrastructure provides you lifts for parking, but they do not provide you 4,000 meters of a walking track. Another thing that also happens with nature deficiency disorder is when you stay in tall buildings, I always ask people who stay in those buildings, have you ever gone to the terrace of your building? And they'll say no. You stay in Delhi, some stay somewhere else. How many times have we actually gone and in the night stood somewhere and looked at the stars in the sky? No, no one has. How many times have you actually gone to a garden and yes, you've commented, this is not clean, that is not clean, but you've actually looked at flowers in the garden? No. That is nature deficiency disorder. And if you look at cities which are good, they are cities which have green infrastructure in order. Why is it when you go to Singapore, you say, what a lovely city? The reason is there is greenery all around. The only greenery in urban infrastructure is on the way to the airport. It's not there in other parts. On the way to the airport, it's very well developed. I don't know why. They want to make you feel sad that you're leaving. But the thing is, other than that, it's not there. Water conservation is something which infrastructure never thinks of. We gift people diamonds, we gift people gold. I believe in 2050, we'll have to gift people water. Because water is going to be a scarce commodity. And no infrastructure development today has looked at water conservation. This is going to be a key problem for India as well. Something I always tell my friends who belong to the infrastructure industry is, it's not what you have built that will matter. Today you're working, you'll retire at 60, 70, 80. It is not the amount of infrastructure in square feet or square yards that you've developed that will matter. At the end, it will matter how much of square feet of infrastructure have people who use that infrastructure give you in your hearts. They feel, oh yes, this man has done a good job. We heard people talking that the metro is a good thing, but it's troublesome. So you're not going to thank people who build the metro. We want people to thank you. Digitalization, urbanization leads to many useless things, and it results in useless people also. More people are needed to maintain what is built. There are more gyms in AC environments than there are outdoor running tracks. There is no time to use the gym. When people ask me whether I use a gym, I always say, "Aadmi rakha hai, kar raha hai." The thing is, we don't have the time, we don't have the ability to do it. And time is running out. The future generation is going to be different. Somebody mentioned today morning, we want the future generation to thank you for what you're doing. This is a small cartoon to show you that the future generation is going to be different. When I was in school and I was studying, I was always told that the pant is to be worn up. When I see the younger generation today, their style of clothing is a little different. Their attitudes are different. Similarly, the infrastructure they will want to use is different. You have to think from their perspective. Planning has to be done by young people. You may curse the environment, you may curse people, but we need to have new models which will make things work, and commitments have to be made. But most importantly, someone started today's program saying that children were the impetus for today's program, and I truly believe, yes, that children are living messages that we will send to a time that we shall not see. Today's children, unfortunately, are more housebound than ever. There are no parks. There is no place they can play. In societies, if a child goes down, infrastructure is created for play. Society members are more bothered about the damage children will cause to their cars than to the fact that children are playing. I remember when I was a young boy, while playing cricket, a glass in the building broke. And we had a person who came and was shouting. I had a man who came and he said, "What is the cost of the glass?" So he said, at that time it was very cheap, 200 rupees. He gave them 600 rupees and said, "Children are going to play, some more glasses will break. Cut it from here." That man was my father. So children don't have open places today to play. And we've reached a paradox in our age that we have bigger houses but smaller families, more conveniences but less time. We have more degrees but less sense. We have more knowledge but less judgment. We have more experts but we also have more problems. We have more medicines but less healthiness. Health is going to be covered tomorrow. We've been all the way to the moon and back, but we have trouble crossing the street to meet the new neighbor. We have built more computers to hold information, but we have less communication. We have become long on quantity, short on quality. These are times of fast food, but slow digestion. It is a time when there is much in the window, but nothing in the room. My only reason for coming here primarily was InfraConclave is not just another conclave. It's not just another meeting point for networking. No. If you have come here to InfraConclave, you have come here with a purpose of doing something for the future. Today, relationships worldwide are changing. You all have immense potential. In fact, they say in every marriage, in every relationship, you get married and remarried twice or thrice in the same relationship as you grow. For all of you, your first marriage with infrastructure is already done. And it's been a good one. The key questions that you'll have to ask yourself from InfraConclave is, am I ready for my second marriage with infrastructure, which is going to be even more meaningful and understanding? It is not an easy task, but the people who are going to do it is all of you, me, all of us. And if we work hard, together we can make a difference. Thank you.